10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best chainsaws. Starting at number 10. Tanaka TCS 33 EDTP. As one reviewer explains, top handle saws are used by professionals swinging from a rope in a tree or working out of a bucket truck, and that's how many reviewers decide to use this chainsaw. The beauty of this saw is its lightweight and top handle when you are up in a tree pruning, one explains, adding, "This saw fits this niche perfectly, and it starts well, handles well, cuts fast, is economical to run, and the oiler works very well." Another reviewer, who calls this absolutely the best top handle saw for the money, says that it is very light, nimble, and powerful. "I have abused it in ways one should never abuse a quality tool, it does not miss a beat." But even on the ground, one reviewer concludes, "Damn, it is powerful for its size. I have not climbed with it yet, but it is a very well balanced, so one-handed operation is quite comfortable." If you're looking for an affordable machine that is easy to use and maintain in good condition, go ahead and consider checking this one out. It offers more than enough features for occasional users as well as some professionals. Even though it's not designed for professional use, it can cope with some more demanding tasks. At number 9. Oregon CS 1500 18 inches. Simply put by one reviewer, the self-sharpening ability is what sets it apart from OTHERS. Hundreds of reviewers praise this chainsaw's unique sharpening feature. One reviewer, who put this to work on a 25-inch diameter, 40-foot pine tree and huge hackberry limb, all before needing to sharpen the blade, says that when they finally did sharpen the blade, the sharpening feature worked great and saved me a ton of time and effort. Another reviewer raves, "I cut more wood faster than ever because the chain was always sharp. No stopping and sharpening, which is such a pita." Another who attests that the sharpener does indeed work adds, "Within a few minutes the chain was cutting like new. It's very quiet and perfectly silent in between cuts when you take your finger off of the trigger." Its 15-amp motor has ample power to trim branches, cut firewood and fell small trees. Capable of cutting wood up to 163 in diameter, depending on the hardness of the wood. It's not particularly fast, but if you let the chainsaw do the work and don't force it, you'll be very happy with this electric chainsaw. The wonderful thing about this electric chainsaw is the built-in sharpening system called PowerSharp. It's simple to use, and it will make your cutting jobs around the house so much easier because you'll always be cutting with a sharp chain. All you do is pull the lever a few times, and within a few seconds your chain will razor sharp. It probably sounds too good to be true, but Oregon has its roots in creating easy-to-use chain sharpening systems, and they've built their entire company on their expertise on chainsaw chains. Number 8 of my list. Greenworks 12-inch 40 volts. The consensus among reviewers is this chainsaw is ideal for small to medium-sized jobs. "This is a great example of form and function being optimized," one reviewer writes. "Absolutely reliable, starts every single time, none of the clumsiness of a corded chainsaw, very easy to maneuver into position, and cuts very well. Understand that you won't be felling any 16-inch trees with this baby, but for quick and easy work on a smaller scale, this is great." Another says, "This chainsaw is very good for small to medium-sized trees that have fallen down or need to be taken down," noting, "I had no problem cutting through 6-inch, even 8-inch size trunks limbs." One reviewer concludes, "It can't be used for big trees, but adds this works excellently for small trees or limbs." Coming at number 7. Makita XCU02PTX1. More than 80% of reviewers give this battery-powered chainsaw 5 stars, and many are impressed by how long the battery lasts. One user who broke it in on a 14-inch ash I dropped with one of my gas saws says, 2 hours later, the ash was on the woodpile and the batteries showed half a charge. Another surprised reviewer writes, "After 3 hours of cutting and piling the batteries indicated 75% full." One even says, "Never would have imagined that I could cut down an 18-inch diameter, 35-foot tall ash tree and turn it into fireplace-sized logs within 2 hours without charging the batteries." Not only do the batteries last a long time, but one reviewer says Makita fast charge is excellent too. Since this type of motor has fewer moving parts, it doesn't possess the same type of high maintenance needs that motors with carbon brushes do. As an example, there are no air filters to clean or oil to change. Additionally, you won't have to worry about draining any remaining fuel and oil for storage. The motor delivers a total of 1650 FPMs for cleaner performance and faster cutting speed. At number 6. Works WG300 1 chainsaw. Is it basically the best electric chainsaw you'll ever buy? One reviewer asks, before answering, yes. It cut through a rock-hard dead mountain ash, no problem. Chainsaw novices and old pros alike are impressed by this electric option. I am not a chainsaw-wielding mountain man, one reviewer admits, but says my wife likes Pinterest, and this last week there was projects that involved a chainsaw, hence, now I own a chainsaw. He found this saw made it a simple breeze to take the 22-foot Christmas tree down and cut her into pieces. Another, who calls this a serious chainsaw in the electric class, says they took down 2 large white pines with it. One user points out that it says only 3-inch diameter maximum, but I felt like it could do much more if needed. And dozens of other reviewers have proven that theory true, including one reviewer who used it to take down and slice up 8 trees ranging from 4 inches to 12 inches in diameter. A more experienced reviewer concludes, the trade-off of no oil-gas mixing and auto chain tightening makes this thing a great choice for moderate to heavy outdoor use around your property. While this is a step up from entry-level saws, it is still a lightweight electric saw, and reviewers at Sawedfish remind you not to push it too hard. It's perfect for general yard work, but you will need a more powerful gas saw for anything more serious. Sawedfish also notes that some people have found replacement chains difficult to find, but they can be ordered online directly from manufacturer, Oregon. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. BLACK+DECKER Lopper. Chainsaws scared the bejesus out of me, one 61-year-old reviewer admits, but says once I got the hang of it, there was no stopping me. And dozens of other reviewers agree that this Lopper chainsaw is easy to use, regardless of skill level. After applying bar chain oil to the saw, I chomped down on several 1 to 2 inch branches, and it was like going through butter, one customer writes, while another says I was able to cut down a few small trees and easily take some of the larger branches off of my hedges. Many say they used this to cut the branches of already cut trees into smaller sections for disposal. One user who took down a dense 15-foot tree in about 4 hours with an electric chainsaw used this Lopper to reduce that whole pile into baggable chunks. They add, it could not have been easier. I certainly wouldn't recommend a chainsaw for everyone, and in all honesty, in some cases they're completely unnecessary and would be considered overkill. They are a dangerous tool, especially for people who treat them like any other power tool. For people who aren't comfortable using a chainsaw, there are alternatives, and I'm here to introduce you to a great one, the BLACK+DECKER Alligator Lopper. So, if you're someone who needs to do some light cleanup work around your home, which might include cutting branches, limbing around your yard, cutting small logs, or even felling a very small tree, you're in luck. Yup, BLACK+DECKER has come up with a fantastic tool to help you to tackle these projects for cutting wood up to 43 in diameter and even slightly larger. Perhaps closer to 53 according to customers. Coming in at number 4 of my list. Husqvarna 440E 16-inch. The Husqvarna 440E Series X torque delivers both power and a high level of safety. It's ideal for beginners because it's well balanced and has double kickback protection. The chainsaw sits comfortably in the hand and produces very little vibration. It's easy to clean and seamless to top up with oil and petrol. However, we find the snap fasteners on the cylinder housing a little fiddly. They tend to wear and break over time. And we feel that the price of replacements is excessive. On a chainsaw in this price class, we expect top quality in all aspects. Another thing that impairs the overall impression of the 440E series is the cold start. It's easy to start in that you don't have to pull more than 2 or 3 times. But it's quite heavy to pull, and you need a good deal of force. It can also take a while before it gets up to speed. This isn't a major problem overall, but it gives the impression that it could have been more lively. Once going, the 440E series is a chainsaw with a great deal of cutting power. The chain is quite broad, And this together with the power means that you can fell both small and larger trees without any problems. However, it tends to jump quite a lot when we saw through harder woods. Otherwise it works evenly. We like the fact that you can choose a shorter bar when limbing felled trees. However, when you buy the chainsaw, it only includes one bar, so you have to pay more if you want to add others. We also like the carefully considered positioning and design of the stop button. At number 3. Husqvarna 120i. The Husqvarna 120i is a long chainsaw in terms of motor and bar, particularly with the battery on, which Husqvarna have placed at the back. But it's still well balanced, so this is only a disadvantage in terms of size. At the same time, the saw is quite heavy, which also adds to the impression that this is a large chainsaw. Unfortunately, it isn't impressive in terms of power. It copes with exactly what you'd expect from a chainsaw with this motor capacity, but no more. For example, when we try to cut up a smaller birch tree, it switches off and flashes red. Then we have to wait for a while before it will start again. In terms of maintenance, this is a good chainsaw. It's easy to tighten the chain, even if the knob could have been a bit bigger. It's fast and straightforward to top up the oil as there's a useful lid, and it's easy to remove the housing to clean the machine. The fact that it's so quiet is also making us nod in appreciation. The chainsaw has a number of safety features. We like the fact that you can switch it off with a separate button and that the chain brake has such distinct positions. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, Stihl MSA200C. The Stihl MSA200C is one of the market's best battery chainsaws thanks to a combination of neat cuts, power, ease of use and a solid battery life. It has a clear battery indicator, rubberized grip, is clearly well built, and produces few vibrations to enhance user comfort. The chain is thin and really flexible. It produces very good cuts, which means that this chainsaw is ideal for finer work. At the same time, the thin chain means that you need a special file to sharpen it. Despite the fact that the chain is so thin, the chainsaw can cope with both felling and cutting up a medium-sized birch tree without protesting. Maintaining the MSA200C is simple. You top up the oil through a cap that you fold out of the way. The battery is spring-loaded, so it's easy to remove and replace. Cleaning is easy because there's a little handle-type device that you turn to undo it. The only disadvantage is the chain tensioner. There's nothing actually wrong with the construction, a wheel that you tighten, because it works well. The problem is that the wheel is extremely sluggish. And if it happens to be splashed with oil that's had time to harden, the problem only gets worse. The MSA200C uses a lot of oil. The advantage is of course that it's constantly well lubricated. The disadvantage is that it becomes a bit more expensive to operate. It takes almost an entire tank of oil each time if you run it from a full fuel tank to empty. But the oil tank isn't very big, and as we mentioned earlier, it's easy to top up. And number 1. Husqvarna 135 Mark II. The Husqvarna 135 is our best all-around chainsaw of 2020 because it's a well-balanced chainsaw with few vibrations and a lot of power. It's best suited to homeowners with both small and large trees to maintain. The bar is quite long, but despite this, the chainsaw can chew through most things without struggling. The chainsaw is sharp, and the machine is well built. The disadvantage of the Husqvarna 135 is that it's really reluctant to start. Many competitors include nice innovations to reduce the resistance, which means that despite being powerful machines, they're easy to start. This chainsaw requires a lot of force from your arms to get it going. At the same time, there's no good way of positioning your body while you start it. For example, you want to put a knee against a housing to provide resistance, but there's a bump from the spark plug in the way. What does work is putting one foot in the grip and pulling. But we think the entire starting procedure is a bit old-fashioned and fiddly. But from another viewpoint, it's easy to get going. It only needs 1 to 3 pulls before it starts up from cold. So, if you can find a good technique and you're strong enough, this isn't a problem. Once you've got the Husqvarna 135 going, it's user-friendly. For such a workhorse, you're never negatively affected by vibrations while you use it. The saw is also well balanced. So despite having a heavy machine weight, It's not too taxing when in use. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.